Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando. That's Corey. And today we're doing 2005's Hard Candy. If you want to follow me or Corey on Twitter, you could follow me at Junior D's. You could follow Corey at Corey_Idol. And if you want to follow the show, as always, you could follow us at Kiss the Reviews on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. So I've actually been a little bit more active on TikTok and putting clips up there, and I'm thinking of some new ideas just to get a little bit more creative with it.
Yep.
So
Christ.
You know me, right?
Get ready for fart cam.
Get ready for fartbox.com at TikTok.
Here we go.
Gentlemen, start your engines. So before we get into this movie, let's start with the cast. This film stars Patrick Wilson as Jeff Kohlver, Elliot Page as Hayley Stark, and Sandra Oh as Judy Tokuda.
It's really weird. There's like 3 people in this movie. This
Yeah,
could almost be a play.
This is like a pedophile castaway.
Adorable.
So I don't know. So 2 things. So one, I don't really remember seeing this. So this may have been a first-time viewing for me. Like I remember a couple of scenes, but I'm like, was that in the trailer? Because I don't remember watching this. So that's 1. 2, when it's going through all like the title cards and all that stuff, and it shows the director and it says David Slade. I caught a quick glimpse of it and I was like, did David Spade direct this movie? Just so stupid. And I was like, I literally rewound it and I was like, oh, David Slade. All right. I was like, that would have been really weird if David Spade directed this.
So we need to discuss the castration scene. I don't see David Spade performing that one. That sounds like an SNL skit. But it does not sound in any way like something he would be involved in.
You were right.
All right, so let's hop right into this movie. Pretty simple premise to it. And if you've never seen it before, there's a good twist right at the beginning.
Classic love story, kids.
Absolutely. So
hang on to your seats.
Yeah, hang on to your knickers, because this shit's about to get crazy in a hurry. So this movie opens with a chat window between Jeff and Hayley. They make plans to meet at a local coffee shop called Nighthawks. And at the coffee shop, it gets immediately gross and creepy right off the start. Hayley's, 14 in this?
Mm-hmm.
Jeff, this motherfucker's damn near 30 if he ain't 30. And just the interaction, like the very first scene, because she's eating the chocolate cake. And not for nothing. And once you get into this film, I'm like, okay, it explains a little bit. Because when I first saw this scene, I was like, listen, she's 14, not 4. Is this the first time she's been introduced to chocolate cake?
First off, I don't know how you eat chocolate cake, but this is the only way to eat it. Just covering your face. I eat it like Animal from the Muppets. Just cake! Ah!
It is all over Hayley's face. And then with that, because obviously you got to add to the creepiness, you have him wiping it off her lip and then like sucking his thumb. And it's just like, oh God, like immediately. And again, because I don't remember this, I was like, fuck, it's going to be one of these. Like I put my seatbelt on. I'm like, I'm buckling up for the ride.
Corey's Life Lessons.
Hi, anybody surrounded by a kid with chocolate cake on their fucking face. Specifically the lip. Uncle Corey here. Don't fucking wipe it off and lick your thumb, you fucking perverts. I don't care if it's the most innocent thing in the world. That could be your kid. And you're just like, yeah, I wiped their shit and they pissed in my face and all this other stuff because of babies. I understand that. So, little chocolate, it's nothing. It's fucking gross. To those of us that don't breed, it looks gross as fuck. Don't do it.
To those of us who do breed, it's still gross. Listen, this is how you do it. Okay, listen to Corey, but this is how you wipe chocolate cake off. Whether it's a kid who's your kid or a rando. And if it's a rando, don't do anything. Just be like, you got some shit right here, guy. Like, that's what you do there. But if you're going to wipe chocolate cake or anything off of somebody's face, do it like my mom used to do it. Like, super aggressive with a napkin. Like, it was just like, yeah, like she was trying to Brillo pad it off your face. Like,
exactly.
That's how you do it, because that's not creepy. It's aggressive, but it's not creepy.
Yeah.
And don't lick the napkin first.
This is so gross. And yeah, if you aren't hip to the fact that this is about to go down,
yeah,
like, this should be a dead ass giveaway. And what the fuck with the people in the coffee shop?
Yeah, like I'd be if I'm, I don't know, serving the coffee or whatever, like I'm one of the servers, I'm a customer, I'm immediately calling the authorities here. I'm like, there's some really weird, creepy shit. Like, if it's her relative, there's some issues here. And if it's not her relative, somebody needs to arrest this motherfucker, because...
Yeah, like, I would just... My phone call to 911 would go something like this. You go ahead and be the 911 operator.
Hello, 911.
Yeah, this is, Dave down at the local coffee shop. There's a white dude licking chocolate off a little white girl's face. You should probably send somebody.
Oh, you mean Jeff at Nighthawks? We've had this call before.
That creepy motherfucker with the glasses.
Absolutely. Well, and then it goes from like creepy to like, dude, come on. He buys her like the t-shirt for the coffee shop, and then she does the little thing where she opens a door and like, oh, you know, whatever. Huh? And they're having their little back and forth. And then he's like, oh yeah, that band, they're fire. Yo, yo, yo. Let's go back to my place and we can listen to the, you know, the Napster fucking MP3 that I downloaded.
Yeah, he sounds like me trying to be undercover with the millennials. It's so bad.
Corey in his flat-brimmed hat like, yo, 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 this is fire AF.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
Yo, did you say Godfried? That's my jam, yo. They're straight fire. I saw him at Coachella. That's my jam. You got some chocolate on your lip. Let me get that off before we Google it. Huh?
Oh my God.
Pedophiles are us, bro. By the way, if somebody ever looks like this, run.
That's the pedophile starter kit right there.
Don't ask me why I have it.
This pedophile party then goes back to Jeff's house. So they drive his car to his house. It seems to be pretty far from the coffee shop, like down some windy roads. Continues to get creepy once they get there. He has pictures of young ladies on his wall, and Hayley makes mention of the pictures, asks him how many of the girls, the little girls that he slept with. She makes mention of one in particular, Janelle, and it has the date of 3/19 on it. Hayley takes it off the wall, and she also makes a couple of screwdrivers and downs them pretty quickly, tells Jeff to keep up. They make mention of, or she makes mention, Hayley does here, of, no, I'll make my drink. They tell you you shouldn't let somebody else make you. Cool. And in this situation, provided everybody is of age, just all these movies, like people just making drinks like with their back turned and like the drinks in front. I don't trust that. I've never trusted that shit from when I was a kid until now. Like somebody comes up with an open glass filled with any liquid, I don't give a shit what it is. I'm like, yeah, cool. I gotta go take a piss real quick, and then I just dump it in the toilet.
That's a good idea, because you know I've roofied you like 7 times.
100%.
If you would actually drink it.
Corey's tried to dose me a good 100 times, and every time I know in your head you're like, man, this dude can take his roofies. Like, he's not even affected.
That pasta sauce makes you resilient as fuck.
Absolutely. This then goes to the little photography studio that he has in his house. She asks him to be photographed. She plays music and, does what a 14-year-old young lady does, jumping on the couch and doing the thing. And Jeff starts to take pictures and he gets dizzy and collapses.
And this is when things are about to take another turn here. For the better, if you're a normal person. But this is also where you should go back and start really putting the pieces together.
Yep.
And she is expertly drawing him in, like Chris Hansen-esque drawing him in to this whole thing where she's being seductive, but not over the top where it's like, this is fucking weird. Like you're aggressive for a 14-year-old girl. You need to back way down.
Yeah.
And, like mixing her own drinks, she seems smart and like, oh, I want to drink, but I'm not going to let anything, crazy happen to. Like, there's this air of like reality to everything that's happening where it seems like he is taking advantage of her, but she's also the perfect mark. Because you could see in today's court of law, even today, where, she was seductive and she flashed her bra at me when she tried on her shirt. And I was just there to meet her for malteds and conversation. And I don't know what happened, officer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
she has scripted this out.
Yes.
So perfectly.
No, she did. And the funny thing is, because you mentioned Chris Hansen, because that's all I kept thinking of. Like, even if this guy does get out, there's some dude in a ghillie suit in his bushes, like waiting for him or some shit. Like, this is a more professional To Catch a Predator. Because normally if she had gone like, I'm gonna go get some cookies and Sprite. Do you want any sweet tea? I would have been like, dude, no, I'm good. Out the door. Like, this was a little bit more calculated, and she planned this out a lot better. So she drugs him. He passes out. He wakes up and he's tied to a chair on wheels. And we learned that she obviously planned to drug Jeff, and she purposefully chose that day to meet up with him because his neighbors were out. No one would hear him screaming if he screamed. And we get this like back and forth about him stalking young girls online, and she had done she had created a bunch of different accounts. And when she mentioned that she was 18 or even close to 18, he was like, ick. And as soon as she said she was 14, he was like, all right, down to clown. So,
dude, this fuck, like, I know she talks about being an honor student, and we've been like, yo, this chick is like methodical and super intelligent. And Chris Hansen, no. She's H.H. Holmes.
Yes.
Like, she is a fucking genius and has used it to become Dexter for pedophiles.
Yes.
And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm kind of into it.
Same.
And what's remarkable here too about, because we've talked a lot about Elliot and how good he is, but also Patrick Wilson does such a good job when he's tied up. You have to keep reminding yourself that he is a pedophile. Because there is an air of doubt. Like, okay, maybe he was about to take some weird fucked up step. Maybe he likes to flirt in this area, but has never actually gone to that really bad step, that bad place. But you're sitting there watching him tied up like, oh God, I really hope he is a piece of shit, because this is going to the next level. And he does such a good job of putting that air of doubt into your mind. Like, oh, like, is he? Like, she doesn't have any hard evidence. And then you have to keep reminding yourself, like, yeah, but he was like sending her those messages at the beginning.
Yeah.
He was like licking the chocolate off of his thumb after wiping it off of her lips seductively. Like, there's a lot of things you have to remind yourself of as the castration begins.
The only air of doubt that, again, that I had as a first-time viewer was when he's passed out and then he wakes up, they do their little back and forth, and then she like starts tearing his house apart to, you know, because as we all know, for whatever reason, pedophiles like to keep photos and all kinds of crazy shit in their house or apartment or whatever. And she can't find anything. Mm-hmm. She's like, I went on your computer. There was a few downloads, but like they're not on there. And where, like, even if you're not a pedophile, single dudes have porn in their house, whether it's actively up on their laptop or, I mean, I guess in 2005, because, you know, internet was a little bit slower then, you had magazines or movies or whatever the hell, and she can't find any of this shit. So that was like the only little air of doubt. And I'm like, but the fact that he had zero porn anywhere in his house, that's the first hint. Like, he's hiding some shit. Nobody, I don't care, man, woman, nobody has no porn in their house.
Oh no! If you want to know about your digital thumbprint, call your internet company, who's probably also your cable company, and start discussing your internet speeds, because they will go through what you're watching and what you're doing on the internet. And with mine, it was like, okay, so like, what do you do for your cable? And I said, I stream. And, you know, I'm on my PlayStation 5 a lot, and every week I usually record a show on Skype for about 40 minutes to an hour. Okay, yeah, I'm seeing that, and I'm seeing... Okay, so your internet speed looks good. They do not want to discuss what else I'm watching, because they see it all.
Hoo-ah.
Here, she does this search of his house for porn and other secret stashes of, you know, pedophile accessories or whatever. So she initially finds nothing, and she finds a gun box under his bed. She takes the gun out, throws it on the bed, and then she finally finds a safe hidden in like this rock garden in the middle of his like family room or whatever. She figures out the code of the safe is the date on the picture of Janelle. She opens it up and she finds his entire treasure trove of kiddie porn and a picture of a girl that he took in front of Nighthawks, the coffee shop, which is the picture of Donna, this local missing girl.
And this is really the crux of why she's involved. I don't think she's necessarily, like, she says she's friends with her.
Yeah.
But I don't think she really is, because she brings up all of this later in the movie. Like, is anything I've said real? Yeah. So I think she's just kind of doing a public service here for the community, which is awesome. I do celebrate this. However, I have to say this.
Corey's life lessons.
Hi, 14-year-old boys or girls involved in a pedophile setup situation. It's awesome you've got him chained up and you're ready to, you know, exact some justice, and you're searching for the evidence, which is also really smart. Find the evidence you need to show just exactly what's going down and why things are happening. When you find the gun, hang on to the gun. That's
put it in your waistband, something, but that stays on your person. And also, I will add to this with a don't do that as well.
Don't do that, it's not good for you.
Hi, same people. You've decided to exact justice on said pedophile, whatever. You have them tied up. Throughout this movie, she puts this dude on furniture with wheels. Don't do any of this, okay? Find furniture with no wheels. So if he gets loose, he can now like kick himself around and wheel himself around. And also, Hayley as a character gets really close a lot of times, okay? Jeff, my man, I don't know how tall this dude is, but he looks to be about at least 6 foot. He's probably about 210. And Hayley in this movie is probably 90 pounds. She doesn't look very heavy. No. He gets one headbutt in, and it's fucking curtains. And so don't do any of that. Keep your distance and tie them to solid pieces of furniture without wheels. Just throwing that out there. And we see this because here in the next upcoming scenes, he does manage to get his feet like untied or loosened up. He knocks her down. All he does is basically just give her a little kick. Her head goes into the table. She gets knocked out for a second. Jeff then wheels himself into the bedroom, gets the gun, and when he wheels back into the kitchen, she comes up from behind and saran wraps the fuck out of his head until he passes out. So, with
awesome.
With the PSA, the don't do that, all that stuff, you've now made some mistakes. This is how you make up for it.
This is amazing.
Yes. This
like,
is
just straight up amazing.
I do like this because, like, okay, he's now tied up and he's in the chair and he's got the gun, so he doesn't have a lot of range of motion. And when she starts saran wrapping him, he just starts straight firing all over the place, and he's just hitting the ceiling, the wall. Like, he can't turn around and, like, point it at her. This is how you do it. You sneak up behind, ha. And my favorite is she just doesn't give him a one-ply fucking wraparound. She just keeps going as he continues to struggle, and, like, he's pushing her into the wall. And I'm pretty sure she's got, like, 3 broken ribs at this point.
Oh, yeah. That looked like it hurt like a motherfucker.
Yes. So she gets him wrapped up. He passes out again. When he wakes up, he's strapped to a table, again with wheels, and he has his pants off. There's a bag of ice on his crotch, and she tells him that she's going to castrate him. And she then grabs his camera, sets it up so he can watch it, and she starts with this surgery, but they don't show it. All we hear are the noises, and we kind of see a blurry TV screen, as the surgery takes place. And the noises, David Spade, David Slade, whatever, whoever did the audio, kudos to these guys, because the noises sound like somebody stirring freshly cooked mac and cheese. It's just the whole time. That's what it fucking sounds like. And it made my stomach turn.
I'm not eating mac and cheese for a very long time.
You were right.
You should have had a trigger warning up for people on that. People really enjoyed mac and cheese before you said that shit. You couldn't have thought of anything else?
Dude, I heard the sound and I was like, yeah, that's mac and cheese. That's what that is.
People are ending their summer now confined to fucking potato salad because of you.
Hey, as long as you don't put raisins in it, we're all good.
Hell yes.
I didn't feel bad for Jeff in this situation because he's a pedophile, and this is great.
Yeah.
Castrate every pedophile. I'm fine with that. Totally fine with that. I just don't want to hear it. That's all I'm saying.
Is that so much to ask?
As an owner of testicles myself, I don't want to hear that. I'm good.
No, I hear you. So part of me, not part of me, all of me, found, while kind of disturbing, this scene. And again, it goes back to, and you get here in a second why they don't show it, but I like that they didn't show it. I liked the noises and all of that. Like, that was brilliant. Like, that's great. But him, like, what I took pleasure in, I take pleasure in gutting you, boy. What I took pleasure in was him. He cried like a January 6th defendant in the courtroom. And it tickled my asshole. I loved it.
I don't care. Do whatever you want. I'll tell the cops I did whatever you want. Please, just.
Kudos to Patrick Wilson here, because he goes from like rage to completely resigned to the fact that this has happened, and now he's just bargaining. Like, you took one, you don't have to take them both.
Yeah.
And her even explaining, like, no, I kind of do, because you can still have one that works.
And not only that,
and you can win the Tour de France if you take enough steroids.
After Hayley does it, and you know, she goes and she tosses, she makes a couple of jokes, let's see how high they can bounce or whatever the hell, and then she tosses them in the garbage disposal. But during all of this, her like just like psycho mode. And she's like, well, you can go to Unix.com. And she's like, I don't know, I had difficulty spelling it, but this is how you spell it. And she goes into like grave detail into life after a castration. And you're going to have to hide this from everybody, like, and shaming him about it.
Yeah.
Like, this whole mindfuck piece is brilliant. Loved it.
Yeah, dude. I'm pretty sure she worked at Guantanamo when we were trying to figure out who planned 9/11. Like, Hayley does not fuck around.
No, there is no fuck around with her. That button is broke. When she's finished and she throws his balls in the garbage disposal. She then says that she's done with him and she's going to go take a shower. She's going to call a cab and leave. Jeff finally manages to get free, immediately sits up and looks down to see Hayley's hack job. And he sees that she didn't actually perform the castration. He sees the VCR. There's a tape of castration. So the video he was seeing was a videotape. He runs for the phone. He almost dials 911, but instead he gets the scalpel. He goes into the bathroom. When he pulls back the shower curtain, she isn't there. She's behind him with the taser and blasts him with the taser repeatedly until he falls into the tub, continues zapping him until he passes out again.
Dude, that was, again, amazing. And I kind of feel like if I had a kid, this is what I would want them to do.
Yeah.
Like, I would want a super genius pedophile torturing little amazing adorable monster out there running around.
Yeah, I also, I think I could speak for everybody and say we're glad you don't have any, because whoever that child is probably would be a psycho. So there's that.
What are you talking about, man? I blink.
They'd have a weird, dirty blonde mustache. It'd be fun. It's all kinds of fucked up.
But I play basketball really well, man.
So she then, after he passes out, she starts cleaning the apartment of all her fingerprints. And as she's doing so, here's the humorous part of this. We see Jeff slithering in the hallway as she blasts him again with the taser until he passes out again. And then Hayley then gets him tied up in a contraption with a noose around his neck. He's standing on a chair. And this was the only unbelievable piece of this movie. And again, going back to his size versus Hayley's size. And I don't know if this is like, she's more leaning towards Jigsaw at this point. And it was like, how the fuck did you get him up on, I mean, because it shows her like trying to like lift him up, and that's just dead. Not only is he probably 200 plus pounds, it's dead weight.
Dude, she not only set up a pedophile to get him back to his house, faked a castration, drugged him, faked a castration, then tased him into oblivion in a wet bathtub, which only increased the voltage of the electricity coming out of that taser. And then started cleaning up, dusting everything off, yada, yada. I have no doubt she figured out how to get him in that noose and lift him above that rafter. No doubt.
you know what? And here's the thing. When I look at some of the, the great wonders of the world, the pyramids, and it was like, how are they built? Hayley did that shit. She created some pulley system to get those damn stones up there. Yeah. It was somebody in her like family lineage that built the pyramids. Now she's creating pulley systems to string up like grown ass adult men in their own kitchen. So here she basically tells him that she called Janelle because, his unrequited love for her and yada yada. And Janelle is now coming to his place. She's going to see all the evidence that he's a pedophile. She offers him a deal and says if he hangs himself, she'll get rid of all of the evidence and all his little, pedophile goodies. No one will ever know that he was a pedophile. Janelle will just think it was he killed himself because of his unrequited love for her. Then there's a knock at the door, and it's the nosy neighbor, Judy. And Hayley answers the door, tells Judy that she's Jeff's niece, and after this horrible back and forth that Hayley is not prepared for about, Girl Scout cookies and asking why Hayley was on the roof, Hayley finally goes back inside.
Yeah, to quote Jack Black in Tropic Thunder, your improv is shit.
This was the one thing she was not prepared for.
No.
And by the way, you got some blood dripping from your forehead. Like, my Uncle Jeff is sick. Did he kick you down the stairs? Because you got a bruise and some blood leaking down your forehead.
Yeah, this was terrible.
Yes. This was the only thing. They kind of sew it up at the end a little bit. And here when she goes back inside. But the only thing here that I didn't like about the movie was this piece. Because it was, like, I get why, like, oh, she almost gets caught and yada yada. And she explains it away later, like, cool. And so what if I'm caught? So what if I'm arrested? You don't think I can make some shit up? Like,
right. I've run
enough
naked out of the house into somebody's arms, and yeah.
So they kind of explain it away, but I was just like, this whole piece, I did like it though, because this was the one thing she wasn't prepared for. But after this, she goes back inside. Jeff lunges at her and he manages to get free. Hayley runs around the building, gets the rope, goes to the roof. He grabs a knife. He finally finds Hayley on the roof. She has his gun and offers him the same deal again. Basically, hang yourself now from the roof of the building. She has the noose set up. And Jeff then confesses that he watched and took photos of Donna, but that he didn't kill her. He says he'll give Hayley the name of the person that did kill her if she lets him go. Which, this back and forth here is the best. Because after he says that, because, he's crying like a little bitch and like, I'll go give you the name and yada yada. And she responds by saying she already knows the name of the other guy. And by the way, Aaron said that you were the one that killed her. And she goes into the whole thing and names the dude.
That's amazing.
And that's when he goes, fuck.
Yep. Which, I mean, at this point, why are you even trying with this chick? You know she knows everything about you.
100%.
Everything. She knows what you had for breakfast on the third day of your 5th year on this planet.
Yeah.
She knows everything.
She made it a mission to follow you, to figure you out, obviously to follow this other dude that killed the missing girl and yada yada. Yeah, and you don't know, because in this back and forth, this is where she was like, am I? Is Hayley even my name? Like, you don't know dick about me. Yeah. I could have made it all up, or it could all be real.
Yep.
So.
Fucking amazing.
It's great. And then she puts the noose around his neck. She says, I promise to get rid of the evidence. No one will know. Meanwhile, we see Janelle has arrived. She's downstairs ringing the doorbell looking for Jeff. And then Jeff jumps off the roof. Hayley looks over the ledge in like one of the last shots. And she says, or not.
which
as
is just disgusting. You promise.
You promised this man.
So rude.
So rude.
Our
You
word
can't
is
go-
our bond, man. Watch Yellowstone. They explain it all.
We shook hands. You said you're gonna get rid of it. Which, by the way, not for nothing. I dig this last scene because as he's like, it's the slow-mo of him like stepping off the roof.
Mm-hmm.
And as he's stepping off the roof, I think out loud I said, or not.
Right.
I was like, what does it matter at this point? Like, and as you're stepping off the roof, you're dead. What does it matter that anybody knows? Like, yeah, step off. You know what? It's all over. Everything's Gucci for you. You're dead.
Yeah, literally and figuratively, step off. It's all over.
100%. So I did like that, and I do like the shot because it's like basically from almost his perspective, looking up at the roof as she like leans over. I'll be honest, dude. When I read the IMDb description, I was like, God damn, I gotta watch a pedophile movie. Like, it's gonna be gross. I'm gonna need to take a shower. I like the twist. Mm-hmm. Like I was pleasantly surprised at the twist at the beginning. And again, how she's like this very shy 14-year-old girl. You know, your typical like young teenage girl. And you're like, ugh, and everything seems so gross until he passes out and wakes up in the chair and you're like, oh, she's going to fucking torture this dude. And she doesn't even really physically torture him. It's all psychological throughout this whole, outside, the saran wrap and the taser. But she has to do that. But like, everything else is literally just fucking with him step by step. And that's almost more gratifying than her actually like physically torturing him. Oh yeah, the ultimate goal of hers, which is for him to kill himself. Yeah, she doesn't want to do it. She doesn't want to kill him.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that's great.
It's great how she does it. It's great how she unveils everything about Hayley as a character is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unbelievably well written. I think the suspense is pretty good when you're watching it. This was my second time viewing it. I watched it the first time and I'm like, well, that's good. I never have to watch this again. Because like the whole just pedophile in general. We've discussed it. Assault in general.
Yeah.
We're not into it. So movies like this or The Room, shit like that, I'm just like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
So watching it again, though, the one thing I did notice is Hayley's actually never really in jeopardy. She pretty much has every situation under control. Shit goes topsy-turvy a couple times on her.
Yeah.
But she also has that remedied very quickly.
Yeah.
So that I think is the only thing for me. It's the air of danger just because of the age difference. And like you said, the size difference, the strength difference, it's all there. But when you actually really watch it again, Hayley's never really in jeopardy. She is fully in control of the situation.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But I also appreciate the more realistic movies like Brie Larson in The Room, where, they have to cultivate this way to get out of there finally after all these years, just because of the way, most of these pedophiles and most of these people that kidnap people, assault people, etc., have it so planned out and have it so down. It's not his first time.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing. So that for me, I just wish there was a little more at stake, which again, I know there is. If she gets caught, it's a gruesome ending for her. But also there's almost zero chance of her actually getting caught watching the movie again.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, holy shit, this movie's fucking brilliant. I love the stance they take with just like the whole setup and almost making it like a cat and mouse, old school kind of thing.
Yeah.
With just the two characters. I agree with you, Sandra Oh. I love her, but she was unnecessary completely in this movie.
Oh, I love her to death. I think she's great. I just if you remove that scene and those couple of scenes, it was almost like an afterthought because they have her and it's a very bad CGI like green screen where she's like cutting the flowers or doing whatever, and then Hayley's on the roof in the background, and that's what made me think like, oh, did they just add this after shooting, like as a just a post shoot fucking scene that they just threw in because maybe there wasn't enough at stake, so they threw this in at the end. And literally the only reason I thought that was because of the weird green screen. It was just that one like 10-second, 20-second scene. And then you get the Hayley and her at the door in their little back and forth. So I was like, oh, did they just throw this in at the end? Because they were like, there isn't enough at stake for her. Like she needs to feel something or be out of place, fish out of water. Kind of, she wasn't prepared. And I was like, oh, okay, I get that. But again, if you take that out, I mean, it's probably an hour and it's only 3 minutes. It's not it's, it's
it affects nothing.
No. So like, even though I was like, in that scene, it doesn't really affect anything in the grand scheme of things. But no, dude, I really dug this movie. I like Elliot Page as an actor. Patrick Wilson does a great job. Like they both I kind of like everything they both do. I think just as actors. And they're back and forth, like, they're face to face. There was a few of those like medium shots where they're like face to face. Oh, just a lot of those shots were really good. Yeah, I don't have a bad thing to really say about this movie. I thought this movie was awesome.
Yeah, the movie's fantastic. And like you said, both Patrick Wilson and Elliot Page, I mean, if you haven't seen anything they've been in, go see a fucking movie because they're pretty much in everything you would want to watch in one way or another. So, yeah, worth it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But that's all I got. Do you got anything else for this one?
Nada.
All right. Well, for Corey, I always forget which side you're on. I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 2005's Hard Candy.